Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Jim Ross.
Thank you.
You tell I was taking long, I had a shitty pop. I expected more, quite frankly.
Just wait.
Jerry, they hurt my feelings. You console me later. Thank you, Charles. Thank you very much, Godfather. Godfather Las Vegas. This is a big deal here, folks. This is the main event portion in my eyes, because the guy that's going to get this award is not only one of my favorite wrestlers of all time, but he's one of my favorite people of all time. And the man that he has evolved to is so envious. I love to have his peace and his groundedness. And you couldn't always say that. But I can always say that I never saw anybody more talented, bell to bell, than this cat. And before we bring his posse, little new Generation X action up here, take a look. This highlight's going to be like a week, but they're not. So check out the video, it's great.
The youngest of 4 children, Shawn Michaels knew by the age of 12 that he wanted to become a professional wrestler. Fortunate to train under Jose Lothario, Michaels made his debut in Mid-South Wrestling in 1984. And beginning with his debut match, Shawn impressed all who were fortunate enough to witness history in the making. Following stints in world-class championship wrestling, Shawn and partner Marty Jannetty became Central States Tag Team Champions. The two would go on to win the AWA and WWE Tag Team Championships before splitting in 1991. While much of his early career was in tag team wrestling, no one could have predicted the successes that lay in store for Michaels. As the Heartbreak Kid, a name suggested by Mr. Perfect, he held individual titles, including the World Championship, Intercontinental and European Championships, tag team titles with partners Diesel, Stone Cold Steve Austin, Triple H, and John Cena. And along with Triple H and X-Pac was a member of D-Generation X. There were epic matches with Razor Ramon, Undertaker, and Bret Hart. Though major injuries sidelined him several times in his career, Shawn Michaels always came back, and more determined than ever. Michaels won the Pro Wrestling Illustrated Match of the Year reader vote a record 11 times, was named the best professional wrestler ever in a 2010 poll of the WWE roster, and was named the greatest all-around wrestler of all time in the Pro Wrestling Torch. Following his retirement, he has hosted Shawn Michaels' McMillan River Adventure, had roles in 2 movies, and published an autobiography entitled Wrestling for My Life, The Legend, the Reality, and the Faith of a WWE Superstar. He is a member of the WWE's Hall of Fame class of 2011. The newest Art Abrams Lou Thesz honoree, Shawn Michaels, joins Michael Hayes, Jerry Briscoe, Arn Anderson, and Kevin Von Erich as they welcome him to the Ring of Friendship.
And to present Shawn tonight, 3 of his closest friends, 3 very, very talented men, 2 Hall of Famers, and one that will be soon in my view. Please welcome Kevin Nash, Scott Hall, and Sean Waltman.
You go first, sir.
Hey, it's great to be here around a bunch of wrestlers, because the guys who've been on the road and wrestling business know that we're the biggest fans of all. You know, I mean, we do this stuff, sometimes it ain't about the money, it's just about the love of the business and the passion that people have been talking about all night. I have the pleasure of inducting a guy that I first hooked up with in Central States territory in the mid-'80s. And the myth about Shawn, even at that time, was when he came from the Dallas territory where he was doing jobs on TV, he was calling the matches to the guys that were going over. So he was always really ahead of his time. I enjoyed my time in the car riding around with Shawn because he wasn't selfish. You know, he would try to help you get better. Because we came along in an era when, you know, it's fake when you win, it's fake when you lose. It's all about having a good time, and don't make the people, like sometimes we were in front of half-empty arenas. Instead of pouting and boo-boo facing about it, we had the mindset of, let's don't make the people who came sorry they came. Let's give them such a show that when they leave, they tell their buddies, man, you should have been there, that was great. And I guess the video said it all. Shawn's considered the very best. And I've had the pleasure of, a lot of times in my career, riding in the building with Shawn, which was taboo at the time, and going out there and working with him and then riding back out. And Shawn, I can't think of anybody who deserves this award more. And thank you. Welcome to the Cauliflower Alley Club 53, the Thesz and Art Abrams Award.
Me too, actually. I've never been known for my promo skills, my mic skills, so I'm going to keep this short. It's been a long night. But I do want to say that knowing you, Shawn, and you being my friend, and the things you taught me, and the matches I've had with you, just being in the ring with you, I was a 10 times better performer, and I'm grateful for that. And I'm also very grateful that you got hurt and had to step aside and drop the belt of speed so I could come in and be a part of DX and make a lot of money. Thank you very much for that. Yeah, sure.
You know, I did a little research on Thesz, and I just I did not know this, but Thesz actually invented the power bomb. People know that?
Yeah.
So without Thesz, I would have had 4 moves. Shawn Michaels made a phone call in 1993 to Robert Steiner, who was one of the Steiner brothers, and asked him if I'd be willing to get out of my contract with WCW and come be his bodyguard. And I got the phone call and I said, duh, yeah. I'll definitely hook up on that money train. Well, 28 years later, I'm sitting here in Las Vegas with one of my best friends, and I just saw Booker T and Stevie sit up here, and you know, it touched my heart because, you know, it's amazing to go through this journey by yourself. It's got to be incredible to go through this journey with your brother, and I've been blessed to go through this journey with 4 of my brothers. That man right there being one of them. I don't have nothing to say. He is the greatest. I learned so much standing ringside for you, watching him and Scott work every night. He's an amazing wrestler. But the thing is, you know, we all ran in that era when you ran 320 days a year. And it was a rough life, and we did what we had to do to survive. And there's a lot of stories out there that we were assholes, and we were this, and we were that. We just were trying to survive. We got through it together, and I'll tell you one thing, you know, as JR said, you know, Shawn has found peace, and he has, but it was always there, because it was in the ring every night. No matter what happened to any of us, if it was 30, 40, 50 minutes, whatever we put into that ring, that was our sanctuary, and we were free because we were doing what we loved. So without any further ado, probably my biggest honor that I've done in a very, very long time. I did get to put Scott in the Hall of Fame, and to put one of my best friends, Shawn Michaels, in the Cauliflower Alley tonight. Is
main event, Mr. WrestleMania.
Go on.
Leave it all to him.
Showstopper, Mr. WrestleMania, the Heartbreak Kid, the one, the only, Shawn Michaels!
This is too funny. Anyway, so this is obviously, thank you all very much for this award. I'll try not to be long either because that's one thing, we don't want to do is keep everybody out all night. So I just quickly want to say, want to thank the Cauliflower Alley Club because I understand this is an organization steeped in tradition, wrestling purity, and for you guys to open the doors for us is, I know, there's a lot of people rolling over their graves. So I want you to know how much we appreciate the fact that you've even allowed us here, let alone give one of us an award. We know that is a big, big step, and we're going to do our best not to screw it up so that we can invite it back. And also, again, I guess the only thing that I want to say also is, honestly, to this day, I've been doing this for 30 years, to this day, I still don't know if I have the proper amount of respect and whatever, all the, old school mantras, things that I'm supposed to have. You know what I mean? Because it's depending on which old timer you talk to, it's different. And so I'm always comforted in that. One guy's been mentioned a lot up here tonight. First of all, his name is Pat Patterson. I, for one, am one of the few people who apparently haven't beat you. But I will say, if we're bad, I think all of us would like to go on the record as saying that most of that is your fault. I mean, he's an old timer. He comes here every year, and he's one of the worst influences in the room, for God's sake. Sitting at the table making fun of everybody that comes up here. And that's all we ever did for years, and we got in a ton of trouble for it. And, so just like that commercial that was on all those years ago where the dad walks in the room and the kid's hiding his doolage and, what are you doing? I learned it by watching you. It's the same thing with you guys, just so you know. All right, so for the record, we're all bad because he's dad, all right? And he's been with that company for a gazillion years, so thankfully though, I do have to thank him. I don't know about everybody else in the room, but every one of these guys will tell you, Pat Patterson is, as far as I'm concerned, and it's one of the things that I as I go forward in my next stage of the wrestling business and helping out with NXT and at the Performance Center and stuff like that. I want to bring the one thing that you always brought, and that is, as this business changed, you changed. And you always stayed ahead of the curve. You never got bitter, grumpy, and all that kind of stuff, man. You inspired hope and joy and going out there and having fun. And it is. It's something that you just were a huge influence on all of us, and I don't know if you ever think about that much, but Pat, I'm telling you, you are absolutely one of the greatest things this line of work has ever had, and
supposed to be you.
You know what? I mean, it is. I don't get up here without you, man. I mean, we got fired in 1987 after being in the WWE for 2 days. He's the guy that requested we get the chance, and for the next year and a half. While we were gone, every month he'd go to Vince McMahon and go, how about those rockers? And Vince, they're dead to me. Don't talk to me about them. And Pat would go back another month, he'd sit, and he'd wait another month, he'd go, how about those rockers? Oh, what I tell you, they're dead to me. Month after month, and then about a year, finally said, All right, just so you stop asking me, but they're your problem. And then from the time we were there, you were one of the few guys that believed in me, you know, and so, and you know, you hear other people, I've heard a number of people in the room tonight. Let me tell you something. If you hear that, you know, whatever, you're too small, you're too this, you're too that, you'll never make a dime in this business, whatever. Take that as a good sign. Now I say that to all of us. And, you know, I got one of these. And if you guys want to go with it, I don't know. They say that to everybody, and hell, I don't know. You know, who knows who makes it, who doesn't. But the fact of the matter is, I don't know. I don't want to come up here and not put you over like $1 million because I didn't get to do it with the Hall of Fame, and I figured this is the place to do it. Pat, you are absolutely one of my two most favorite people in the world, and I'm serious. I look back, I think about my career and everything else I've done far greater things than I ever possibly imagined. I'm a 52-year-old man that gets to do what the hell I want when I want, and so much of that is because of, you know, your belief in me and giving me the opportunity with that company that I know I'd have never got if it wasn't for you pulling for me so many times. They don't give guys like me that chance every day. And the fact of the matter is you kept going to bat for me. Now let's face it, I mean, I made you look good as hell when I got the chance. But, you know, still, you know, they might have not given me the chance if it wasn't for you. And so it is, as cool as this is, I don't know. The thing that I love about this business, honestly, again, still not knowing if I get the right amount of respect, but it's the relationships you meet. There's so many people in this room that I've run across. Darush up here putting himself over the $1,000 that he, but I mean, you know, the Darushs, I ran into them in the AWA. Scott Casey, my goodness, Scott Casey, he was in the absolute greatest angle in the world when I was 15 years old, him and Eddie Mansfield. You know, my first hair versus hair match, and oh my goodness, I thought Cowboy Scott Casey was going to lose his hair, and he beat Eddie Mansfield.
I finally did.
He did, and they shaved his head and everything else. It was phenomenal, for God's sakes. You know, and then obviously all the years later, you know, getting to watch Booker go into the Hall of Fame, and then hearing his story for the first time. Honestly, everything that I love about this line of work, honestly, is you know, is the relationship and the people you meet along the way. And this room is littered with people that I've run across. Steve Kern, my goodness, I don't know, 30 years ago when I figured I got hired for the WWE, I figured I got to move to Tampa because that's where everybody lives. And I didn't know anybody, and of course Steve Kern, I'll help you find a place to live. You know, and hell, he didn't even know me, but he was still just a wonderful dude. And Brian Blair, you come work out my gold gym. It's just things like that. For such a really tough line of work and filled with a bunch of, you know, backstabbing, bitter old sons of bitches, I wouldn't trade it for anything else in the world. So anyway, thank you all. For the love of God, let's all go to bed, because at 52, I've turned into my dad. It's time for me to go to bed because I gotta get up at 4:30 in the morning. All right, thank you all so much. Pipe down, shut up.